Hey there. Yeah, it's me, SLD Everything. Today I'm going to be doing a tier list video. Because why the hell not? And I think it would be pretty cool. So strap in with your low attention span and get your tic-tac ready because I know you're not going to watch the video. Anyways, let's get right into it. And of course, there's going to be spoilers in this list. So if you don't want none of that, just watch something else. Now, the first game that I played is God of War Ragnarok DLC. Holy God of War. I'm so bad at this. Now, in my personal opinion, the DLC is perfect, and it's everything I wanted in a God of War game. A perfect character arc with Kratos, and Tyr was a great boss fight. And I like the fact that each time you fight Tyr, you have a completely new moveset to adapt to, and if you don't know, everything in the DLC takes place in one attempt. Meaning that if you die or die anywhere in the attempt, it restarts you to your beginning location. Yep, it's basically a roguelike. And I like the fact that even if you die, it never truly feels like failure, because you get some like permanent upgrades to make the next attempt better. And in true Souls-like fashion, you get good in every attempt. I will definitely put this in an A because I loved it, but some of the other games on this list I feel like do things better than the God of War DLC. But don't get me wrong, if it was the base game, it would definitely get an S+ tier. Anyways, let's get right next to the next thing on this list. Now, this one is amazing. The next thing on this list is Bloodborne. If you have watched my videos, you know how much I love Bloodborne and how it would probably be a candidate of being my most favorite game of all time. And if I'm glazing this game, I don't care. It deserves it. It really does deserve it. The bosses in the base game are so good. This is probably the most action-packed Souls game because it heavily relies on your aggressive way of combat. But it also has a weird mix of battle IQ and an aggressive playstyle. And for the longest time, I've wanted to buy the DLC, but right now I can't. Alright? As soon as I get that DLC, I want it to come inside. Okay, I'm actually crazy. Okay, I need to calm down. And I know I'm glazing this game pretty hard, but I don't give a shit. This game deserves all the glaze because it's really damn good. Easiest S tier I've ever done. And you know what? It might even be an S+ if I ever, like, do some shit like that. Alright, the next thing I played after Bloodborne was pretty good. Sekiro. I honestly think it's pretty good. The combat is good, the story is good, a lot of things in the game is good. And Sword Satan is probably one of my most favorite bosses. But there is one problem with the game, and it's the lore. I don't think the lore in the game is bad. I just don't find it that interesting. When I play a game, it's mostly just for fun, but when a game is so good that I'm just like, damn, I want to spend a few hours on that. Very few games literally make me feel like that. You know, I want to know more about this. The only two that come in mind is Elden Ring and Bloodborne, and even the very confusing lore that is Five Nights at Freddy's. But Sekiro, I feel like, is not it when it comes to the lore. No disrespect to the lore, but I just don't find it that interesting enough to dive deep into it. I'm mostly there to just, you know, do the parrying madness of the game. You see that? That's actually insane. And I'll put that in an A tier because the lore could be better. And I might change my mind if I replay the game. So don't crucify me in the comment section, okay? Next one is Dark Souls. Now I'ma be honest, I straight up thought this was trash the first time I played it. And the funniest thing is because I went to the wrong place. Now, let me tell you a story, alright? I started off the game enjoying, you know, killing the first boss. He was pretty easy. And then once I went to the round table of the game, I went to this section of the game where there was skeletons. And my dumbass thought that that was the right way to go. And I'm just sitting there with my brother, just being miserable, just going through this maze of a game. And there was like, why is this so hard? Because we're in the wrong place. Everything is over-leveled over here. But I do appreciate that this game has that level of freedom. And just so you know, it wasn't all miserable because when I went to the skeleton area, I gained a lot of weapons in the game that are actually pretty good. Now, granted, those weapons are over-leveled, but hey, at least I have them. Overall, this was a great game. I'm actually trying to get into the lore because it's pretty interesting. So I want to put this at an A tier because it's still great, but I might get, flamed, but it's not better than Bloodborne. Now, here it comes. The next big thing. Elden Ring. What can I say about this game? Really, what can I say about this game? It's so good. The exploration and the lore, and especially the bosses, are so good and make a perfect Souls experience. The lore in the game is so good and delivers a lot of great story to enjoy. For example, Godfrey, the first Elden Lord. He wasn't actually the first Elden Lord. Alright, now that we got that taken care of, let's expand on the lore. He wasn't only, the first Elden Lord, he was also the first Tarnished, and even led the Tarnished to many great battles in the lands between. And some of you guys might be thinking why he has a lion on his back. Well, it's to suppress his bloodlust because his name isn't actually Godfrey, it's Horalu. And this version of Godfrey is super bloodlusted, he wants to kill you. Now that I think about it, after he put the lion on his back, he had kids. Oh my god, did the lion watch him have sex? I just realized that. Overall, amazing game, S tier, but I don't think it's better than Bloodborne. I know. I just love the game that much, alright? Alright, get your pitchforks ready because Outlast is the next one. I actually enjoyed this game, and not for the reasons you think. I actually really like this game purely because of the chase sequences, and how crazy they could go. And this might piss off a few people, but I honestly didn't find this game scary. Now, to be fair, I did watch a lot of Outlast during my teenage years, so maybe that's why I didn't find it that scary, but I think it's a B tier. It's, good, but it's not better than the other games. Here it is. Lies of P. It's better than Sekiro, honestly, in terms of parrying and combat. I might make a video on Lies of P later in my YouTube lineup of trash that I don't post that much. Anyways, Lies of P is so good. The bosses are so cool looking and the parrying is so satisfying. And I know the timing of these parries are very, very tight. But once you learn the timing, that's where the game really, really gets good. Now, the hardest thing in this game was Luxasian, am I saying it right? And Nameless Puppet. These two broke my mental state. It took a total of, I'm not joking, 10 hours to beat this bitch. And Nameless Puppet would probably be the same if I didn't tell my brother to stop playing Overmid and get to beating the game. The combat is not the only thing good about this game, but also the story and lore. And it's just very satisfying once you understand what's going on. And I'm glad the story isn't like, other Souls games where, the story is kind of in the background and you kind of just have to enjoy the game and not really think about the lore that much unless they're searching up a MatPat leveled video. This is one of those games where I take as much information as possible in the game, in the main game, alright? And completely try my best to piece together the lore the best I can. Overall, I think it's a solid S tier because of how much fun I had in this game. And heck, for the first time ever, I decided what build I'm picking, other than balancing all of them out, just like in other Souls games that I played. Alright, this is the final game that I played recently, actually, and there might be an updated tier list in the future. Anyways, the next one is Arkham Asylum. This is good. I don't have much to say about this other than the combat is very good and very satisfying. And I'm currently going through the trilogy, so wish me luck because I'm going to put all of the Batman games in the hardest difficulty. So, that's a B. Alright, so that was the list. Hope you enjoyed. And hey, if your frontal lobe was good enough to get to this part of the video, you must be pretty good, so give yourself a pat on the back because your attention span was above average. Anyways, if you guys enjoyed, be sure to like and subscribe for more content like this, and check out my latest video on what makes a good show because it's really good. So anyways, that's all I wanted to say. Bye.